Maharashtra elections. Lots happening there. We get you all those details. First up, a look at the top headlines. Less than 25 days for the Maharashtra polls. No end to the infighting in the Mahavikas Aghadi. Sources say Uddhav Sena has ignored the Congress's demands after fielding candidates from the seats sought by the Congress. NCP SP induct SP Neta Fahad Ahmed, fielding him from the Anushakti Nagar constituency. Addressing a conference, the first press conference, Talapati Vijay launches a veiled attack at the DMK as well as the BJP, saying one party is looting the state while the other is indulging in divisive politics. The DMK and the BJP hit back at Vijay over his speech, calling it a filmy speech. The DMK saying that the actor is acting like the AIADMK. Delhi air quality slips into the severe category ahead of Diwali. AQI crosses the 400 mark amid thick fog. In a big boost to India-Spain bilateral ties, Spanish Prime Minister has arrived in India. A series of events lined up, including the inauguration ceremony of Make in India C-295 aircraft. And Arman Bhatia creates history, closes day 4 of the pickleball event in New Delhi by achieving a hat-trick victory. All right, with just over 3 weeks to go for perhaps the most crucial state that will decide the political fate, the decision-making in the competing alliances in Maharashtra seem to be on in full speed. As of now, let's get you the overall picture of what the situation is like in Maharashtra ahead of the polls. Now, in respect to the number of candidates that have been fielded and declared by the Mahayuti as well as the MVA, let's take a look at these numbers. Now, in Mahayuti, the BJP has declared 121 seats. So the BJP will be contesting on 121 seats, whereas the Shiv Sena will be competing in 65 seats, whereas the NCP will be contesting in 49 seats. Now, let's take a look at what the numbers are going to be like. This is, of course, in the first we show you the Mahayuti. Now, take a look at the Mahavikas Aghadi as well, what the numbers are like and how the parties are in the partnership in this alliance. So, in this, the biggest number being with the Congress party, there are 99 seats where the Congress party will be contesting on, and Sharad Pawar's NCP will be contesting on 76 seats, whereas the Uddhav Sena will be contesting on 85 seats. Remember, there were a lot of discussions as well on how many seats each of these parties will be contesting on. So, let's tell you the big names that have been announced and those that have now been announced by the parties. Eknath Shinde will be contesting from the Thane constituency that has already been announced now. Now, Abu Azmi is going to be contesting from the Govandi constituency. This is going to see a very interesting fight. Remember, Mahayuti and the Mahavikas Aghadi, this time around, the alliance is going to be fighting it out. So, the equations over the last 5 years have changed completely. Now, let's get you some of the other names as well. Nawab Malik's daughter, Sana Malik, is going to be contesting from the Anushakti Nagar constituency, and the interesting battle this time around, like we mentioned, is going to be on the people accepting these alliances, MVA versus the Mahayuti. Remember, Raj Thakeray's son is contesting. Amit Thakeray is going to be contesting from the Dadar constituency as well. So these are some of the key names that have been announced by the parties. There are discussions that are still continuing. In fact, in the Mahavikas Aghadi, the Congress seems to be facing a tough time as its allies continue to flex its muscle. This comes after the defeat in Haryana, with the allies now believing that the Congress party may not be the best bet in each of these constituencies. So the Grand Old Party's demands have been ignored by many of the allies. Sources have told Times Now that the Congress is mulling a friendly fight against Uddhav Thakeray in Versova as well as the Byculla constituencies, and that's because there is no consensus that has reached yet. This is after the Sena UBT announced candidates in these 2 seats without considering the Congress party's keen interest to contest from here. Remember, in the last Lok Sabha polls, a similar friendly fight was initiated by the Congress in Sangli as well, where they had won. We have breaking updates now coming in. It's going to be a friendly fight on some seats that's expected in the Mahavikas Aghadi. The candidates of Uddhav Thakeray, Shiv Sena and the Congress may face each other and about 5 to 6 seats in Mumbai. These seats include Versova, Byculla, as well as Ghatkopar and Bandra East and Mulling as well. So these are some of the seats where there is no understanding, and that's also one of the reasons why the decision has been taken that there will be a friendly fight. The consensus clearly not reached, and Uddhav Thakeray's party has fielded candidates on these seats already, even though discussions were still going on within the alliance. Now, after the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thakeray, Congress has also announced candidates from the Solapur South constituencies. Remember, just 5 days ago, Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thakeray faction had fielded Amar Ratikant Patil as well as a candidate from the Solapur South seat. My colleagues Niyamika as well as Nilesh join us on the broadcast. Let's go across to Niyamika first. Niyamika, the Congress party says it's going to be a friendly fight in some of these seats, but the friendly fight also means that the alliance has not been able to reach a consensus. Is this the impact of the defeat of the Congress party in the Haryana polls? Take us through the discussions that are taking place in the alliance.
Well, indeed, the results of Haryana Assembly elections have impacted a lot for the Congress party, as now it is the regional parties who are also trying to dominate in terms of their seat sharing formula. As in Maharashtra and Jharkhand, there is continuously delay in the formal announcement for the seat sharing formula on the part of the alliance partners, and that is the only reason why it might be possible that we will see the Sangli model once again being implemented in the state of Maharashtra, because there is no consensus which is being formed between the MVA partners for Congress, Sharad Pawar-led NCP and Uddhav Thakeray-led Shiv Sena, and that's the only reason why it might be possible that in the regions like Mumbai and Vidarbha, there might be some friendly fight between the candidates of Congress, Shiv Sena and the NCP. As we have got to know this from our sources that for almost 5 to 6 seats in the Mumbai region, there might be a friendly fight between Congress and Uddhav Thakeray, Shiv Sena, which also includes the seat of Versova as well as Byculla, where we have seen that how Shiv Sena had already fielded its candidates, because on one side the Congress party is continuously trying to convince Shiv Sena to take back these names of the candidates, because recently also we have seen that in the last CEC meeting it was Rahul Gandhi who had also asked the state leaders to make sure that these seats comes into the Congress party itself, because the Congress is having a strong hold on the ground, and that's the only reason why now the state leaders as well as the AICC observers are continuously trying to convince the Shiv Sena leaders to give up these seats, because the Congress party is saying that it is always with the Congress party in these regions. The Congress party used to contest, and for that reason they are also asking that there should not be any candidate from Shiv Sena's side. But if these talks will fail, then only there can be a friendly fight in all these areas. And I would also like to mention that what are all these seats, which includes Byculla, Versova as well as Vadala, Ghatkopar West, Bandra East as well as Mulund. That is for Uddhav Thakeray's Shiv Sena, where there can be a friendly fight. But if we talk about the Vidarbha region, then the seats which also includes Ramtek as well as Miraj, these are the seats where it might be possible that the Congress party will field its candidates against the Shiv Sena-led NCP's leaders. As for that reason, they are also trying to convince that it is basically the stronghold of the Congress party on the ground in both of these regions, and that's the only reason why they are saying that the Congress party should have its candidates in all these areas.
Okay, but the question still remains, does that mean that it's going to split the votes? Is it going to be advantage for the Mahayuti? These are some of the questions that will face the alliance. But let's also tell our viewers another interesting development, where the Samajwadi Party leader Fahad Ahmed has joined the NCP, and he has been fielded in Maharashtra's Anushakti Nagar seat against the Ajit Pawar faction candidate Sana Malik. Now, while the BJP is calling it another sign of the internal tug of war, Fahad Ahmed says that the decision was taken after consultations between the two top leaders from both the parties, and they have reached understanding already because they already share a socialist ideology.
समाजवादी पार्टी और शरद पवार साहब की एनसीपी में दोनों पार्टियों की जो जड़ें हैं वो समाजवाद से जुड़ी हुई हैं। मेरा जो मुझे आज एनसीपी शरद पवार साहब ने, सुप्रिया ताई फुले जी ने, जयंत पाटिल साहब ने, जितेंद्र आवाड साहब ने, रोहित पवार साहब ने जो मेरे पर भरोसा किया है, ये इस बात को दर्शाता है कि इस महाराष्ट्र के चुनाव में ना तो पार्टी महत्व रखती है ना ही व्यक्ति महत्व रखता है, ना ही सिंबल महत्व रखता है। महत्व सिर्फ एक ही बात का है कि जिन्होंने महाराष्ट्र को लूटा है, जिन्होंने महाराष्ट्र के अंदर महाराष्ट्र की अस्मिता के साथ खिलवाड़ किया है, उसके खिलाफ हम तमाम दल जो है एकजुट हैं।
We have more breaking updates coming in. There could be a rift within the Sharad Pawar faction of the NCP. This is ahead of the polls. Jitendra Awad and Yunus Sheikh have clashed. In fact, on camera, the two netas are seen in a scuffle. This is over the party manifesto. And let's go across to my colleague Nilesh, who's joining us on the broadcast with the details. Nilesh, this is an interesting scenario. On one hand, the parties are fighting it out. In the visual that we're seeing, it is leaders within the party who are fighting it out. And it's a heated argument between the netas. What exactly happened?
Well, this is yet another visuals wherein the internal conflict of the Mahavikas Aghadi is seen on camera this time, wherein the state minority state president and the minority vice president of the NCP Sharad Pawar faction were seen into a collision. Jitendra Awad, who also happens to be representing the Mumbai constituency, was also present at this spot when this scuffle broke out. Now, what we're learning is that this anger was put down by the vice president of minority cell of Sharad Pawar faction regarding the election manifesto which was released by Jitendra Awad. Now, Jitendra Awad happens to be holding power onto the Mumbai seat because he has been elected twice, that is in 2014 and 2019, and now this time again he is contesting from the same seat. But this scenario is turning a red face for the NCP Sharad Pawar faction, wherein the internal conflict is out in the public. Jitendra Awad goes on mentioning that how the anger that was delivered will be justified. It will be re-edited. The manifesto will be re-edited and re-released. But such a scuffle should be avoided because it sends a wrong message across party lines and into the minds of voter. But this is not the first time wherein the internal conflict is seen on camera, because we have been reporting how Abu Azmi from the Samajwadi Party has also been protesting that how the small parties are not getting the respect and the value that they deserve in the Mahavikas Aghadi alliance. Now it becomes significant that Samajwadi Party has been demanding 12 seats, but as of now has got only 2 seats, and it is around 28 seats that is still remaining to be announced.
Okay.
As of now, 260 seats from the Mahavikas Aghadi partnership has been declared and 28 are still to be announced, with just only 1 day left to declare these candidates, because tomorrow will be the last day to file the nomination. Okay. And with such visuals coming in, it somewhat describes that how the internal conflict is somewhat delaying the seat sharing formula from the Mahavikas Aghadi faction.
Absolutely. Nilesh, so just a few hours to go for the nomination to be filed, and even now there are differences in several of these seats, and that's showing on ground as well. Nilesh, thank you for joining us with those details. Thanking Nyamika as well for joining us with those inputs. And on that note, we're slipping into a very quick break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with